Along the coast.
It started a long time ago, about the age of 5. I've been doing this music thing for quite some time. The first one to really notice that I had the talent start with was my uncle, Reverend Lonnie J. White. He saw in me some things in which he felt like he needed to let everybody else see. And, he was very much responsible for opening up doors for me as a kid to get on stages in churches and different things like this to expose, myself and my talents.
We were living just door to door from one another. His house and my house were just an arm length apart. Brother Wendell was always have been an awesome young man, young boy, very, very mannerable, would always do what I'd asked him to do. All of Wendell's early life, he was a very different young man, a young child from the other young children, his brothers and even my boys. You wouldn't find Wendell like the other kids would be running up and down Lee, racing one another, running and seeing who was the fastest. But you wouldn't find Wendell in that group. Often, more likely, you would find Brother Wendell in the backyard or in the basement somewhere, tinkling, making something. I think Brother Wendell's first PA system was that he sung on, and he made it. The speakers that he made, the very first speakers, I used them at my church. Brother Wendell was quite influential in making and putting things together.
My first group, the Sensational Wonders, we were a young, innovative group. I was always and was the lead singer of every group I've ever been in, always been out front. Even now, I am always the one who makes it happen. I gotta make it happen, but I've had my uncles that came out the forefront, a group by the name of the Gospel White Brothers, in which originated in the city of St. Louis, that took me pretty much as a little boy all around the world with them also. My Uncle Lonnie went on to introduce me to the South region as a young man, singing at some of the biggest churches, opening up for some of the biggest gospel acts, the Mighty Clouds of Joy, Shirley Caesar, the Canton Spirituals, and on and on and on. I mean, there were so many great things that they were able to show me in this music thing.
We didn't really have to do a lot to get Wendell some type of tone, to his voice. To be truthful, you can just say Wendell is a born singer.
He was just such a master in his vocal singing, and he could stage a song, he could set a song, and being in such a young age,
Wendell started off a kid that would like to be by himself a lot of times. He would doing things. He would experiment.
But we just thought it was normal coming up, but we know now that it was God and my mom and my dad that kept us so closely knitted together, and we were raised in the manner that, man, I sang all the time. So all of my brothers they were just so supportive of me, you know, and as I began to sing, you know, my brother Anthony, he take after me a lot, and he began to sing around the house, and I began to show him different notes and things like that, and you know, he ended up having my back in the Sensational Wonders with a smooth tone. You know, my little brother, he can blow.
We started out probably like 13, 14 years old, gospel group, Sensational Wonders. But when I think about it today, I can't even believe the type of programs we were on. We were opening up for Mighty Clouds of Joy, Shirley Caesar, Five Blind Boys, the Williams Brothers. My uncle Moselle had us on all those programs. It was like common nature for us to just be sitting in an auditorium with the Mighty Clouds of Joy, getting ready to open up for those folks when they came to town. So we've been singing a long time. You know, obviously over the years, we've gone our separate ways. Some people have gone out into the work world, but Wen stayed with the project. And if you definitely talk about real music, you definitely want to listen to some of Wen's music. I mean, it's produced. The whole nine is done by him, and I think a lot of people are missing out. If they're looking to get back to real music, music you can believe in. You need to check out Wendell B.
Well, the second set of Sensational Wonders, you know, consisted more of family, all family. When we begin to get older, the first set of Sensational Wonders, we kind of like went our own way. But, you know, no one took that music thing as deep and as loving as I did. The music is in my mind, my heart, my body, my soul, and I give my best when I'm putting down a track, writing lyrics or whatever I did. I mean, from a child, I was so deep. See, I ran with my uncles, so I saw a lot of things at a young age. Maybe I shouldn't have saw, but you know how a young child is running around my, you know, grown folk, you know, they get the chance to hear and see things. But you know, my uncles wasn't no bad guys, so I didn't see anything bad. But the point is, you know, I kind of knew how to cuss a little bit before, you know, maybe I was supposed to cuss. But that wasn't the only thing I picked up. I picked up knowledge. I was the type of kid that I could hustle. You know, I cut grass, fix cars, or did whatever I needed to do in order to make whatever happen. So at the age of 14, 15, I cut so many lawns in the neighborhood that I saved up enough money to cut my first 45. And I was blessed to do it in a studio and with a legend in the St. Louis region by the name of Oliver Sane. Oliver Sane was the saxophone player for Ike and Tina Turner, and he's a legend around the St. Louis area, all around the world really, but he's never got the just due, but he has helped so many like myself to be introduced to this music game on another level. So my first 45 was cut on Vanessa Records. I remember the day Oliver and myself sat down to make this agreement on the 45. He told me, he said, boy, you sang so good, you just need a woman just to shut up and listen. You know, when you start singing for them girls make you hit some notes you didn't know you could hit. You heard me? So my point is I started developing my vocal ability more and more and more. You know, I've always had this Luther Vandross sound. In school, they called me Luther. This deep, yeah, sound that everybody just moved about so much. And I just took it and I developed it. And, you know, I took a little bit of Freddie Jackson, a little bit of Luther Vandross, a little bit of Barry White, a little bit of Donny Hathaway, and I created Wendell B. You know, and this is how I came up with me. So my high school group, we got a chance to, man, we won every talent show in the city. We won it, you know, because I had some awesome guys behind me, and I definitely was already trained. Man, you know, I was so into my music. I already knew what I wanted to do for life, you know, and I always knew it was music. So in school, I would skip a couple of classes or so, you know, to go and prep to do my talent show later on that night or what have you. And so, you know, I wasn't really a kid that loved school. You know, I did school and all of that, but I wanted to do what I'm doing today. And so I would skip my last period class. Miss Reynolds. I'm sorry, Miss Reynolds. I'm still doing my thing. And, you know, I ended up having to go over to another high school, you know, because I didn't graduate on time. But I ain't ashamed of that because I kept on my grind, and my class, I represent them right now all over the world. You know, I was missing 2 credits. So me and my cousin Don, in which we were at rehearsal in my group, the Sensational Wonders, the second set of Sensational Wonders, and we were at rehearsal one night, and Don walked up to me and he said, "Wen, man, I gotta do summer school." And I looked at him, I said, "D, me too." So,
you know, people always thought we were playing when we said we were cousins in school and things like that. We actually didn't start off going to school together. I was at Central, Wayne was at Beaumont, and we were actually in our church singing group. You know, I played the drums, and Wayne was always the lead singer, of course. And went to a rehearsal and found out I hadn't been doing what I was supposed to be doing in school, and neither had Wayne. He was singing too much in the hall, so we ended up both having to repeat a little bit of the 12th grade. So we went over to Northwest and basically did a lot of singing over there, and did some talent shows and did some things. But me and Wayne been together a long time, you know, been like best friends, you know, outside of just being cousins. We are blood cousins, but also just being good friends to each other, you know, going through thick and thin, different things that we had to do in life, and just growing up together. Grew up in a church background, but also wanted to do a little bit of other things, you know, get out, party, and do other things. So, you know, definitely our mothers didn't understand that, and they wanted to restrict us, but you know, we were able to do a few things that we wanted to do.
Back in the beginning, in the late 70s, Wendell invited me down to Wesley House. And as we went down to Wesley House, we met up with a friend of ours from grade school named Brian Shannon. At that time, they had already been together, and they was singing the song called "What's Your Name?" I still remember it like it was yesterday. And as they sang that song, I began to put the baritone on it. And when I put the baritone on it, we had harmony, and our voices just gelled like it was made to sing together.
We were not only singing in Beaumont, but we were singing all out in the county schools, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, it's a lot of enjoyment. We were probably considered one of the better groups in St. Louis, always going up against a lot of the older groups and just basically destroying them. And for us to be so young as we were, and the other groups of course have been so much more mature than us, we were just walking right through them.
Basically, we had a lot of fun in the group. A lot of times we would go out to nightclubs that wasn't supposed to be there. And one time we were at a nightclub singing, and they were throwing money on the stage. And just so happened I saw a $5 bill come on the stage, and Brian saw it at the same time while Wendell was singing, and we were all backing him up, and I stepped on the money, and We both stopped singing just to get to the money. It was real funny.
I remember the days of the Beaumont Blue Jackets versus some of the Bulldogs in football and basketball. Well, what people didn't also understand is that each one of those high schools also had talent shows. And we would match talents from school to school. And hands down, Wendell B always represented the Blue Jackets, and he always won, man. He was just a sensation, even back in the 70s to the days of high school. And so from that point on, I've just followed his career. I've established we've got a great friendship. We're like brothers. And all of my professional career as a radio personality, I've always been a Wendell B fan.
Yeah, and after high school, you know, I was a big jinglist. You know, I did all kind of jingles on the air for a lot of hair care products and different things like that. So I was able to, at a spot I was at for a while called Miller & Sons Beauty Supply, I ended up doing the commercials for Miller & Sons, Paul Miller and Sons, and which later on became Personal Service Beauty Supply. And this is where I had the opportunity to do my first jingle. And man, they put my voice on the air, and man, everybody thought it was Luther Vandross. With people thinking that, wow, man, who is this? And this is how I began to get paid off in my first little, make my first little money and, real money in the music business by doing jingles and doing things that made me a little cash so I could, get me some extra Mickey D's and stuff like that. Take my boys out. We would get in the Seville Cadillac. I had a Seville Cadillac with a burn on the hood.
Somebody tell me. And again and again and again and again and again. Will I ever love again?
This is my cousin. What is your name?
My name is Booker Brown Jr. And I must say I am very proud of my brother. He succeeded in all the ways that he said he would. And I'm looking forward to him being just an outstanding superstar. Congratulations, my brother. Hang in there and be tough.
All right. Okay.
I'm going through this thing inside my mind.
One thing that I have learned that when your brother is famous, it makes the world a whole lot smaller. Can't go nowhere without someone saying, hey, you Wendell's brother. But it's all good. I'm proud of him. Love life relationships, top dog in my book.
It's a fragile situation, and I'm losing all concentration, thinking of you. Yeah, I shouldn't have never made reservations,
Gotta keep all my obligations. What am I to do? Yeah.
Well, the very first time I heard Wendell, he has a voice that is so inviting and so soothing. One thing we look for, different sounds. He definitely has a sound that's unique. He's like a crooner. So you get very excited anytime you hear a Wendell B song. Wonderful, you buy his CD, you can put it on, listen to it from the first track to the last track, you will not be disappointed.
Ever since I can remember as a young boy, I'm 34 now, so shoot, that'll tell you how many years he been going hard.
Man, we began traveling all over the world, you know, and it introduced us to something as teenagers of another level, man, and we got a chance to really experience how it felt to tour and do different things. I mean, Mr. and Mrs. Tate had us like looking good. We had, you know, full truck, and we had the vans, and we had everything, trailers, everything, you know, that it took for us to be out there on that level, and we had it. Oh man, we look good as we went there, and we sound good. We later went on with Vision Band to move to Minneapolis, and this is where I encountered a lot of my great friends that are my friends today. Terry Lewis and Jimmy Jam, Jesse Johnson, Mint Condition, Stokely, that's my boy, and so many others, you know, Morris Day and the Time, Prince, and all the big ones. You know, I can sit here proudly and say that I played the First Ave, in which is where the original Purple Rain was made at. You know, Jesse and I are great friends. You know, matter of fact, you know, this right here is us standing in the First Ave, you know, just kicking it, you know, because we later became signed to Jesse Johnson of the Time. You know, the group The Time broke up. Terry Lewis and Jimmy Jam did their thing. Jelly Bean and them did their thing. Jerome kind of went with Prince. And Jesse went on, did his own solo career. And they began picking up groups, you know. That's why, you know, Mint Condition, the group Low Key, and us, and which was Vision Band. We later on became the Cool School and the Crash, and which these guys are now around St. Louis right now. Dee Dee and my great friend Edgar, and these guys are called the Dirty Muds. So I was actually living in Minneapolis with some of my good friends, Prof T and Lance, in which later on these guys became the heavyweight players for the group Low Key. They also were signed to Terry Lewis and Jimmy Jam. These guys are phenomenal friends of mine, man, and we all lived in a house together. And it came up on a situation where, you know, they were looking to put a new group together, and they really wanted a hot lead singer. And I say, man, I know just the guy. You know, I really couldn't go and do that because I was already dealing with my thing with Jesse and them, and Jesse was going to do me next, this, that, and the other. So I made a call home, and this is where, you know, one of my good friends in St. Louis by the original Godfather, they call him Larry Shepard, the original Godfather. He's a big DJ that's been on the radio, a legend here in St. Louis. His brother by the name of Andre Shepard. I made a call to Andre, and next thing I seen is Dre was on TV talking about I got a thing for you. The things with Jesse really doing the type of music that I wanted to do, Jesse was on something kind of different, you know, than I wanted to be on. I wanted to be the next Luther Vandross, that big balladeer and what have you, and I wanted to, you know, really do that kind of music. So what I did was I ventured out, and me and my good friend Edgar, we ended up moving into the Atlanta, Georgia scene. the A-Town, y'all. I was in the A-Town before the A-Town started popping. I spent 16 years in Atlanta, Georgia. So when we hit the A-Town, my good friend, we call him Boney E. Boney ran up on a group of guys that were really, into putting a label together that, was really looking for their first big act to pop the label off. And those guys signed me, and that's when Wendell Brown really became a national name. My first big single was a song called Wrong Place at the Wrong Time. And man, this took everything and everybody by storm.
I've been sitting here all night long, trying to figure out where did we go wrong. And in my searching, I came to realize it was just the wrong place at the wrong time. Yeah. Now can we part and just be friends? Who knows what tomorrow holds? Maybe you and I can love again. But for now, you go your way, and I'll go mine. And if I should ever love again, I pray that it's you and I. And if I should ever fall in love again, I pray to God I'll fall in love with you, my friend. You, my friend. I never meant to break your heart. I never meant to make you cry. It was just the wrong.
We were distributed by Mercury Records, and man, I did some phenomenal things on the Mercury record label, and this was my first introduction to the real level of the music business on my own.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is Wendell. I know this Wendell B, y'all. Alligator boy, whatever they call me around this way.
I'm the one you need. No need to look no further, baby. Bring it to me. Bring it to me. 'Cause you're tired of yeah.
Hey, yo, BT. Drop it right here, baby. Check it.
Measure for measure, trying hard to make you understand. Yeah, that when you are near me, I lose control of who I am. Yeah, 'cause you make me feel so good that nothing else matters but you. Yeah. Check it out, fellas. Yeah. I woke up this morning to my surprise. Something had gone from me. Couldn't believe my own child. My girl had gone and left me. Now I feel so lonely. How could it happen to me? Oh, it hurts so deep inside. I should have listened when she asked, can we spend a little time? But I was here with my best friend. I'm about to lose my mind. And I guess I played the losing game this time. Now I feel so sad. I never thought that love would turn its back on me. She never said I heard, but saw it in her. She was crying inside, and I just didn't realize. But now I understand that I'm with her wrong. If I ever get another chance, girl, I'll be a different man. And I never play the losing game. Maybe next time. Somebody's gonna love me. Baby, next time. Yeah, say la 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 la. Come on, everybody, just take your finger one time. Get it up, come on, y'all. Mississippi, can you feel me? Yeah. Check this out, y'all. Look, I remember the time that we loved, and nothing on the one ever take me to. And I remember the time that we had, and nothing on the one could ever make a plan. What you gotta do is there's a rhythm in it when you like you lost your mind. I need to rock you home. We go around like you just don't care. Caught up in this love affair. I know it ain't right. See, she was only supposed to comfort me and say that it would be alright.
sound you'll never forget. The new CD entitled Good Times. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Wendell, featuring the hot new single, Heaven Sent to an Angel. Definition of a real man.
Definition of a real man.
Anything. He's sweeping the nation with a silky, soulful sounds. CD available in stores everywhere.
I think it's time. I think that women in general are long overdue for a man that means what he sings about in a ballad, in a love song, in telling you all these love things that about you, and these things that are so deeply embedded within our hearts. I think it's time for someone to present that and stand behind it.
You feel so right. Tonight I'm gonna be.
I think his voice is very masculine, and not too often you hear a very masculine voice singing a beautiful love song, and this is a love song.
And I'll be of understanding, cause you need to be understood. And give it plenty satisfaction. All I
Yeah, because I just want to make it good for you. Wendell and Raw Deal. That's the real deal. Check it out. A lady, a woman, let's not just say a lady, a woman loves to be understood. Not just heard, but understood. Sometimes I cry at night for my baby. I miss her. I need her. There's this particular moment in which no one else could feel that particular pain except her. She's the only one that can make me feel good at that particular time, which is for myself, the times in which I'm resting.